Hi, vibrations, sweet babies. It is the year 2026. I am really excited to be in a calendar new year. I know a lot of people who are into astrology and just the spiritualism between the wheel of the year and all of that. There's a great debate about when the new year actually starts. I mean, it's not really much of a debate. You can definitely think of all of these times as your new beginnings. I'm going to take my jacket off because I'm wearing a puffy vest. Because why not? There's no exact time frame that we can experience new beginnings, new chapters, a refresh, a restart. Life puts us in those positions in many different ways all the time throughout all the year. And as I have said in previous readings, chapters closing can be multiple pages long. So what I mean by that is that even though there might be this catapult or this catalytic event that puts you in a place of something ending, that ending can take days, weeks, months. I've experienced cycle breakings that take years. You're ending the cycle and you made the decision to end the cycle, but it doesn't actually complete. Here's the thing. We're going to talk a little bit more about cycles actually. But there was a reading coming through. Oh my goodness. And I was literally saying to myself, a feather is going to be symbolic for this reading. And the card right here, the second I pull out my deck, feather. So I'm going to just give it a shuffle. I am not going to pull them right this second. I want to just clear the energy a little bit. Something about a manicure might be significant. Manicure, pedicure. Triple threes are significant for sure. The idea of attention and focus. There's a lot of curiosity. I'm feeling oof, that was a weird shuffle. A lot of what ifs. And I feel like maybe you collective are kind of in this place of surrendering to either where you're at, your circumstances, your journey, or the process. So before we shuffle, let's just really discuss some of the things that I was just intuitively feeling into before I even sat down to pull the cards. And let me introduce myself as well. I'm Hannah, aka Bunny, on the internet spaces. I am a professional model. I'm a certified mindset and life coach. And I am also a writer. I like to be in multi facets of creativity, but I love writing and I love just expressing my creativity and helping other people express their creativity and express themselves, which I feel like is a nice swift transition into what we're about to talk about. So expressing yourself is really going to be a huge theme for 2026. I'm feeling like what we're feeling into collectively energy is sort of the last of what we needed to learn, what we need to heal, what we need to work through as we move from the year of the snake into the year of the horse. So we have about a month collective, about a month left of this very powerful shedding skins snake energy. So what this is really going to, I think, show up as for us collective is, how are you expressing yourself? I think there's going to be a real focus on expression and being your true self. So when we talk about the idea of shedding skins, this can mean so many things. It probably does mean so many things to each and every person. So for you, listener, shedding of skins may have taken place in multiple ways throughout this past year. It was a very letting go, release, surrendering to the process, trusting the journey, being in this place of shedding, dead weight, shedding unhealthy connections, leaving spaces that don't feel right for you, moving away from work environments that are not connected to your purpose. Like, this could have showed up in several different ways, but what I'm seeing for us in this last month here, that's Earl Grey, my family's cat. Excuse me. He's a very loving, sweet cat that I think is very perceptive, because he kind of knew to come around my family at the time of just a really sad time in our family. And I think animals can teach us so much, and we just have to be willing to really be in tune with the world around us. So we'll see if he has anything that he wants to share or contribute. But yes, so with this last month here of shedding skins, what I see more than anything, ooh, and the whole reading just came bloop right to me, a lot of masks slipping away. I feel like I have a lot of artistic, creative people in my collective, but more specifically listening to this audio, I think you're in the right place if that's the case. Because I feel like there is a natural performer to you. Like, you have the ability to be a presence, whether you're actually doing this like on a stage somewhere or through art in some way, the arts in some way. You could just kind of carry this into your everyday natural life. But the question that my spirit team is nudging me to ask is, who are you when you're not performing? Because this is going to be a very revealing time for yourself. There is a peace, an authenticity, a relief to be able to be your true self. Sorry, I just like glitched out there for a second. Another energy like came through to me mid-sentence. Okay, back to this reading. Who are you when you're not performing? There is this beautiful truth, this beautiful authenticity, this beautiful you that exists when you finally let yourself stop performing. This could be in people pleaser mode. This could be literally wearing masks. You know, I'm not here to judge you. I'm just here to read into the energy. So if this is your experience, I'm hoping that something in this reading is soul food for thought, and at the very least, something insightful for you on your journey. No judgment here. We've got lots of different walks of life amongst us in this collective, and I'm really thankful for all of you who show up. Okay, so there's probably a piece of you, if not a large part of you, that is discovering the feeling of no longer having to wear a mask to perform, or you could be dealing with what's real for all of us who are in this space and in that collective and going through that journey, is you're dealing with the really difficult experience of learning how to stop performing. It is something that a lot of times is created out of safety. You want likability, you want to be trusted, you want to be accepted, you want to be, loved and embraced as this wonderful person. But what good is it to be loved and embraced for someone that is not authentic or true to yourself? They are loving a version of yourself that you are going to have to consciously put effort into and energy into to sustain. And when that performer mask slips off, there's this very uncomfortable healing that needs to happen of learning to be okay with yourself when you're human, when you're not being applauded, when you're not being praised, when you're not being laughed at, when you're not being, I'm getting very like clown mask, like Jester energy. Earl just scared the shit out of me. Holy cow. Oh my God. Came creeping up on me real quick. There's this feeling really quickly that I just keep being like brought back to, of feeling like hey, hey Earl, can you not maybe? Feeling like there's something like we're gonna come back to this. We're gonna come back to that energy. Maybe the cards will explain that and I can shuffle on that a bit more for us. Because what I think the real importance is this energy of the work, the inner work that it takes to actually be true to yourself, to actually be authentic, to actually not give a fuck about what people think about you. And for those of you who struggle with people pleaser syndrome, aka fawning response, it's actually a trauma response, and it's very difficult to work through and heal without being activated. So I highly recommend that's work that you do alongside a therapist. But if you're looking to get more into expression and how to kind of create a strong core sense of self and authenticity that really feels like you, I created a life coaching program, an empowerment through expression program called Bambi to Bombshell. Now, I do focus on working with women in that program, but I truly believe that anybody could really receive a lot of benefit from the materials in that program. This is going to be listed on my updated website that I'll be sharing soon, and as soon as that website's live, you're gonna see links for it just about everywhere, but I'll drop it into the video descriptions and drop a comment with it so that you can check it out if that's something you're dealing with, because I do feel like for this reading, this is a collective who probably does struggle with this. And you are going through you're kind of being initiated into, oh honey, you know, I know so much animal symbolism, but cats, I don't actually know about their symbolism. Honey, please, come here, baby. What's wrong? Why are you being so sad? Oh, baby. Come here, honey. Okay, so I'm gonna have to look up what cat symbolism represents and means. He's right here with us, friends, and rubbing all up on my cards. Yeah, give him some good lovin'. What secrets do you know, honey? But there's this feeling that I just want to really share. It's like there's a feeling of like you have two doors in front of you and you don't know exactly which one to walk through, and feeling like for some reason they're both closed. That's a situation you might be going through, or you might be facing or up against as we shed into the year of the horse, which begins February 17th. So please don't knock it over. Please don't knock it over. Yeah. Go ahead. So, even though it's a great skill to be entertaining, to be a performer, to be creative, to be of influence, there is an exhaustion and a burnout that comes from existing in that place for too long. And I've actually studied a lot about iconic people, people who break molds, people who are doing absolutely incredible things by being completely authentic and unique to who they are. And that's what the Icon Suite is sort of all about. It's like, how do we step into versions of success and abundance that feels like it's only attainable by becoming your most iconic self, by really embracing your uniqueness, your gifts, your true self, instead of going the copy paste, cookie cutter route that just does not feel aligned with your soul. The Icon Suite is all about finding materials around, staying true to yourself, expressing yourself, using your gifts, creating more visibility, just all of the juicy, beautiful things that iconic people really need in order to, stay regulated on their journey towards success. So there's going to be a lot more of those types of materials being shared soon. Recently, I shared a how to build a vision board workshop from my past coaching community on Facebook. I had a Facebook group coaching community for a period of time. And I'm really looking to kind of bring a lot of those old materials back because I found them so useful. My clients found them so useful, and really just do everything I did in the past, but like turn up the voltage. Yep, that's cat things for you. Get down. Yeah, well, you're wreaking havoc. So I'm gonna tend to his needs really quick because he's not gonna settle himself. And I think he's gonna just keep meowing until I give him his attention. Okay. I think Earl is all situated, and I think he kind of also helped me get back on course, because as excited as I am about all of the materials from the past, from the present, that I am going to be sharing on the Icon Suite, I want to focus on this reading because I do feel like there is a really powerful message here. Focus is significant as well. So as I was saying before, it kind of does have this energy. It feels like there's two doors that are presented to you, were presented to you, but for some reason they both feel like they're shut. Or maybe they just feel you're on the right track though. Like neither one is necessarily the right option for you. And you kind of feel like maybe you just need more information, or you're kind of just like waiting out. But there definitely is this energy of like a transition. And, I'm not surprised because in the past couple of readings, 111 was showing up, a lot of energy around choices and decisions. So maybe at the very least, you might just be reflecting on two doors that were open, and now it just feels like that conversation or like that decision was made, and you might just be reflecting on the choice you made and all of the information involved. So like I was saying before, there for sure is this shedding of skin, and more than anything, it's this mask falling away. Your true self the part of you that you were connected to as a child, the part of you that made wishes from the deep parts of your heart and your soul, the part of you that cares for the people around you, the part of you that longs for healthy love and connection, stability, abundance, like all of the very beautiful things in life that help you feel purposeful and whole. That part of you has been I feel like it's almost a rescue mission, like for that part of yourself. And your angels and your ancestors are really not playing around anymore about this. Not that they were ever playing, because let me tell you, your angels and your ancestors do not play about you. I do feel like you have a lot of angelic protection around you currently, and this is not from a place of like angels are here to drop little blessings into you, because I feel like in a lot of ways you have been extremely blessed recently. I mean, life is so not linear, so there might have been some hard times mixed in with some good times, and some blessings mixed in with some, you know, really shitty situations. But ultimately, I think your angels, your ancestors, and the divine wants you to acknowledge the blessings in your life, and their presence around you at the current moment is not there to be dropping any more blessings, but to protect you and help you nurture the blessings that have already come into your life. So maybe those two doors that you could be like walking through, or you did decide that you walk through, or you closed, like whatever you did about those doors, I feel like now your angels are here to take care of you through the rest of this journey, because no matter what choices were made, you're going to have to still go through a journey. I think the thing that hinders a lot of people on their evolution, right? You can't just evolve your mind. You can't just evolve your body. I mean, you can. You absolutely can. But in a lot of ways, you have this evolution that occurs across the board through mind, body, spirit. Earl, baby, what is it? Okay. Through mind, body, and spirit, you're going to evolve. No matter what way you're trying to grow in something, or what skill you're trying to evolve in, whatever, there is this evolution that occurs across the board, no matter what. And I think what hinders a lot of people through that process of evolving, of growing, is that they expect to get to a point, and I was like this too. We expect to get to a point, and we're like, well, whew, that's over. Glad that work is done. Anyways, on with my life. Like, on with my best life, or even on with the life I'm content with. But that is just not the nature of reality. The nature of reality is that there's a lot of things that you're still going to have to address or work through or heal in your life, because no matter where you go or what you're doing, there's this you're going to push yourself through a new experience. That new experience might challenge you in really positive and powerful ways, or it could challenge you in ways that bring up a lot of fears, a lot of things that need healing, past traumas. And we won't know until we experience that. because it's new, because we've never done it before, because it's outside of our familiarity or our comfort zone, which was another topic for our collective in recent readings as well. So I want to get back to the idea of masks slipping away and being seen for who we really are. This is also challenging work, even though the results of that work is really rewarding. 1, 2, 3, we are moving in a direction to our highest and greatest good by doing this work. But it's certainly not easy, because that means that we have to be in full acceptance with who we are. And a lot of times we are not already living with full acceptance of who we are because we feel shame, embarrassment, or, that we need to hide in some way. And I think that this is really going to be a time where visibility becomes a big topic in your healing journey. This was an experience for me, and I also knew when I was gonna do this reading, I was like, this is not a reading for me. This is a reading for collective. This is a reading that I'm gonna be sharing what I've gone through and things that I've already kind of worked through. Probably still could, evolve more in these things too, of course, but I think that I've gone through some of these experiences so that I could speak on them for you now, collective. So the big thing with fear of visibility is that it creates this feeling of unsafety, of uncertainty, of feelings of, it can trigger things that you've never even experienced before, because you have been playing small, been going unseen or under the radar. And most of the time when it comes to fawning and fear of visibility, motherfuckers get good at it. We get really slick. We get really good at trying to fly under the radar, of kind of going unseen. My symbolism might be significant. Okay, so you might have a history or a habit of kind of skirting around the edges, kind of just keeping around the edges of, your life, kind of going beneath the radar, playing small, staying small, and being unseen, moving quickly, keeping to yourself. But at the end of the day, there is actually a really great benefit in working with others and allowing growth to occur with others. But that can't take shape if we're afraid of being our true selves. Now, it is very difficult to step out of a place of fawning when you are surrounded by other people who also struggle with being their true selves. Now, what is the true self? When someone's struggling with their true self, it means that they're struggling with expression. They're struggling with allowing their inner world, their emotions, thoughts, energy, etc. to be expressed outwardly. And it's not that they don't feel those things or think those things. A lot of people who don't express themselves are filled with all kinds of a whole world of beautiful information, ideas, wisdoms, emotions, etc. But there is a lack of expression. This could show up in stillness, but not in the way of a nice meditative stillness. This feels like statue, rigid, feeling almost stuck or frozen. That's how I feel like it's going to show up in your experience, collective. For however this shows up for you, it's going to be oh, okay, that's that. And it can show up like somebody struggling to be their true selves can show up in a lot of ways. They can also project onto other people and try to put other people down for their personality, their hobbies, their interests, their talents, like literally the best things about that person, just because they lack the ability to express that for themselves. So kind of a jealousy issue, an ego issue, if you will. But regardless, that projection is really a reflection of how much they are struggling with being able to be their true selves. Because anybody who's their true selves knows that it takes work, knows that it's difficult, it's not easy to be the one being laughed at all the time, let me tell you. But you don't put other people down for being their true selves. That's just not an empowered, iconic, unique, individualistic way to be. That's very been there, done that, if I say so myself. So I hope you're not doing that, but if anything, I'm hoping that that's just not what you're experiencing either. However, I feel like it might be. If I'm being honest with you, this feels like a foretelling reading about this last month as we leave the year of the snake. So, visibility in a whole is very symbolic for this reading. I'm feeling like eyes are a symbol. Eyes are definitely a symbol. You may have had eyes or something about eyes show up through media or through TV. And you might actually be getting a lot of like weird symbols or things being shown to you through TV, and your angels and your ancestors and your guides are telling you, yes, that's us. We're trying to communicate with you. 33. There's a huge energy here that your angels are not only around you trying to guide you on this path. It feels like sword in hand, like they are ready to fight for you on this path towards not only just sustaining your blessings, but sustaining your integrity so that you can be the person who was worthy of those blessings. There's a teaching about, you have to be, I'm not even going to go there. Okay, so, yeah, divine guidance. Whoa, how did I not even realize this? I know I just yelled into the microphone. I'm so sorry. As I was saying, there's a whole thing about eyes, visibility. Evil eye just popped out. Just because somebody has their eye on you does not mean that the thoughts that they are having while they're looking at you is adoration. And performers, those who love to entertain, be in the spotlight, have their talents and gifts recognized, here for it, claps to you. But there is this really important gift, and this was part of visibility, and this is what I teach in Bambi to Bombshell. We have a whole pretty much 2-3 weeks of materials around boundaries, bliss, and blessings, honey. That 333, that was literally, and 37, that was what I felt called to teach upon. And I am so glad that I learned all those things, put myself through that education pathway, and did that because it has been something I've needed to use more than any other practices or tools in my life in order to step into my full self and feel safe to do that after years of feeling like you have to play small, hide, dull yourself down because you might be intimidating other people. You might be making other people uncomfortable, and you don't want to do that. You want to be liked. You want to be adored. You want to be loved, right? You want to be seen as a good boy or a good girl or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, that is not serving you. You are living in service to others. You are a person. You have a full life. You have a full mind, dreams, heart. And 444, yes, there's this big energy on protection when it comes to the topic of eyes. I don't even know how to like break this down and short enough so that this reading doesn't go on so long. But more than anything right now, and I'm seeing, yes, balance is here in the cards too. Wow, this is so confirming all of what I was seeing and feeling before I even pulled cards. So 37 again on the clock as I record this. Yeah, there's a balancing of energy here. It feels like a balancing of karma, like a scales are being balanced, justice is being served. This could be in your favor or it could be out of your favor, depending on, you know, like the choices that you've made. But ultimately, what I'm seeing here is that visibility, it's coming back. There's something around an energy of like what you've been paying attention to or what you've been focused on, what you've had your eyes on. That energy is soon going to be returned to you. Because okay, what I'm seeing is, yeah, I'm really trying my best to figure out how to express this because it's actually like really crystal clear in my mind's eye, but I have no idea how to like explain it at all. So, okay, water sign might be significant, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Let's see. We did just have a Cancer full moon. This could have been, that was January 2nd. This could have been a time where you were starting to realize where the evil eye energy might be showing up in your life. So let's talk about this. Visibility. There is something here around you. Okay, Spirit was very clear about how I was supposed to share this, and I'm not sticking true to that because I walked away from the cards for a second. So coming back to the message from Spirit, because I am here to be a conduit. I'm here to share a message and guide other people, and truly nothing more. So Spirit says that you spent so much time avoiding being seen that you didn't realize how much you became the person who was watching. So there's this really deep energy of hypervigilance. Hypervigilance is common with people who've gone through trauma, but more specifically interpersonal trauma, because there's something here related to this idea of trying to be unseen, playing small, and in order to, you know, this comes from the idea, right, at the baseline of fear visibility, is that being seen is a weakness. Being seen puts you creates unsafety. That puts you in the position to be a victim. Okay? So that's what our nervous system feels around visibility. So in order to be safe, what is the opposite of that? Being vigilant, looking around you, watching, okay? And this may have started out of safety, but something around the energy of this has become tainted. Something around the energy of your watching and your fear of being seen, something around it's coming from a place of fear. It's coming from a place of needing protection. It's coming from a place of it's like you almost expect it. You expect it to happen, and it just becomes your natural way of operating. You like expect yourself to kind of be in this hyper vigilant state, or looking around, or just at the very least distracted. You are so distracted at the moment, based on your expectations of like visibility. And this is all going to tie together for you. I think this might make sense for some of you. For others, as it starts to show up in your life, I think it might make more sense. But this idea of performing was the way that you felt safe being seen. And now that you are not performing, now that the masks have slipped away, now that the eyes around you are looking upon you with maybe a little bit more judgment, you are starting to really experience the fear of visibility, the fear of being your true self, expressing who you really are. And you need to protect yourself by noticing eyes. Eyes might be looking on you, or you might have this feeling of needing to look over your shoulder, or just something about eyes. Protect yourself, my friends, because truly eyes are the window to the soul, and you will be able to tell what people's intentions are by their eyes, where they're looking, what they're looking at, who's looking at you, this feeling of being watched. But the reason why I think the balance is significant is that Spirit is reminding you that all the energy that you put out into the world, threefold law, comes back to you times 3. So even though it was from a space of protection that you became the watcher, you became the one wanting to see, wanting to stay on the outskirts, stay on the outside, to avoid visibility, to avoid being seen. You had this power of invisibility, truly, until you realized that you're no longer feeling in true connection to others, that you can't be yourself. Really, what good is it to live solely on the outskirts of your life? However, when you were living that way, all that watching, all of that perceiving, life as, if being seen makes you unsafe, created this watcher inside of you. And that energy is coming back. And that's what it feels like the angelic protection has been initiated around you. I'm just going to be completely honest. I feel like there's something about travel, attending someone's wedding, a honeymoon phase, matters of the heart. It really feels like, okay, you know what? I don't want to get too out there. I'm just going to summarize the cards because there's really not that much here in the cards. When it comes to the distraction, I do feel like it is affecting the direction, the trajectory of your heart space. I see that you're almost constantly in this honeymoon phase of life. You're just kind of like in life. It doesn't matter if you're booed up or if you are single, if you hate dating, if you're married. You are in a honeymoon phase with life. You like to just be like lover, in that lover energy. I'm seeing that an earth sign, a Taurus, a Virgo, and Capricorn might have balance or know how to create balance around something specific, about more so how to show up without overworking yourself and using information for the heart. And maybe I honestly, I feel like this earth sign is somebody who is really kind of an example of either what you want or what you don't want as far as how you bring balance into a relationship. But you're learning that, and I think through Capricorn season, you're learning that 444, yes, you're learning that you might have been overworking your heart space or like that energy. Ooh, my tummy is gurgling. Yes, it's time for some lunch after this reading, and it is snowing. It just started snowing here, so I'm gonna have to head out soon. But yeah, so there's just this lesson, this healing that's being learned about you being in honeymoon phase with life, like thinking that everything around you deserves your honeymoon energy. It's actually overworking you. It's actually creating more damage to your heart space because you're not being discerning enough. And this energy, it might be coming from like your creator, your sacral energy as well. It's distracting you from your true heart space. And your heart space, is where your authenticity lies. So if you want to become more expressive of your true self, that's heart work, baby. That's heart space energy, honey. Like, that's heart work. So stop exhausting yourself with distractions, with being in this honeymoon phase with life all the time, and start understanding how to create balance within your heart space. And this was a message that came through in another reading, was from your head to your heart space. And I'm going to have a meditation for that soon because I have to go dig it out somewhere. So yeah, don't overwork yourself. Find out more information. And I think angel numbers are going to be your confirmation for your information. Confirmation information. Some numbers might be 27, 47, 12, 12, 11, 11. I'm thinking 444, 333, 888. And this confirmation is trying to help you in this way of making space, okay? Making room for the new beginning that's on its way to you. There's a butterfly symbolism here. I really do strongly feel like you have been getting a lot of symbols through movies, more specifically movies. I'm gonna avoid saying that you're getting it from like your algorithm or like, you know, what you're reading online. I think is more so movies, specifically movies. And this, friends, as like 3D world as it seems, is your enlightenment. It is helping you towards your enlightenment. Your guides are like, this is how we connect to them. Okay, here's a message for you. Your angels, your ancestors, your spirit team is deeply, deeply wanting to guide you right now and deeply trying to communicate with you. How much are you listening? And here's the thing, I'm going to tell you straight up, word for word, this is what I heard in my head, you know, as far as like what I need to be like really focusing on. You know, sight is only one part of what you see, okay? But you have other senses. You know, you might see a lot of things, but you see a lot more with your senses, okay? And specifically what I'm thinking right now is that spirit team is trying to communicate with you through more senses, okay? Through all senses, and they're trying to get you to use your eyes, your sight, in a way that is not going to be distracting you or leaking your energy, okay? Because it really feels like there is, yes, spirit right here is saying issues with communication. Baby, you're not listening. You're not listening. You're not. Okay, spirit wants you to really be open to your enlightenment journey, because right now the way that you're ignoring them is like kind of insulting, because they're like, hello, what about the blessing that I brought to your life? What about the abundance that I gave to you? I'm trying to help you sustain this. And baby, you're not fucking listening. And it's like, not even to be rude, it's because like at the end of the day, the divine guidance is like there if you want it. You have to call upon it. And I see that this communication is the relationship that you're having with your enlightenment journey is deeply, deeply affected by an air sign in your life, Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, okay? This is a cycle. This is a cycle, and I know this reading is long, so I'm gonna end it here and leave it at this. This is a cycle, and you are being divinely guided to cut some of this shit out for your own protection, for your own benefit, and for you to reach your full potential. I'm seeing your star power is literally trapped within this cycle right here that we discussed. And the cards are literally laid out in a cycle. And I see right here, the relationship you have with your enlightenment journey is deeply affected by an air sign in your life, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. I also feel like Aquarius season might offer you some healing around this in specific, but that divine guidance is coming right back to that evil eye of like, okay, time to protect yourself. Time to protect yourself. Whatever you saw around January 2nd, whatever things were being revealed, whatever your emotions, your intuition was displaying for you under the light of that full moon, whatever was being illuminated on, maybe you gathered information and it made things more clear. That is where you're needing to zip up 111, protect your energy, because you can almost guarantee and expect that you're going to just fall right back. And you're going to be surprised at how many cycles will follow you into even your most abundant, even your most peaceful, and even your most prosperous chapters of your life, because the cycles don't belong to the circumstances, they belong to you. I'm going to say that one more time. Your cycles don't belong to your circumstances, they belong to you. Okay, so you might think that you can avoid cycles by just avoiding them in any way that you possibly could, or by changing something, but that's not always it. Just because you change the decision or the way that you acted in a specific regard does not mean that that cycle is going to just be over. In some cases, yeah, but more specifically, your cycles belong to your deeply ingrained systems in your life, dynamics, things that you went through, like you in particular as a person. So just by making a choice that's outside of the usual and typical way that you would act in a cycle doesn't mean that that cycle is completely over. Yeah. Friends, I'm going to just be honest with you. There's some cards here that are definitely speaking to ego. An ego death, or the feeling of an ego death, might be showing up. You might also be having reflections around the ego death that the collective kind of went through last February or so. And it might be kind of coming back to have some loose ends tied up. Really and truly, I'm seeing drop the fucking ego. It's dark and you can't see a fucking thing because you're used to being the watcher, right? When you take this hyper-vigilant, or when you take the visibility aspect out of things, what does your body tell you? What is your gut tell you? What does your inner wisdom tell you? And more in particular, what is your divine guidance trying to show you? Notice when you are distracted. Notice when you want to pull away from things. Notice when you can't focus. What are the feelings that you're trying to avoid or run away from? It's hindering what you're creating, and it's hindering what you can expect from your life. It's hindering how much your heart can grow because you're not living authentically. You are living in a state of fear. So get over yourself, pull your shit together. Shit's about to get real, okay? So these cards are a little bit doomsy, I'm not gonna lie, but they're saying that, you know, pull your head out of your ass pronto. You gotta help people, do good for humanity, okay? People around you, like there's multiple things here about like people around you. So this is important because this is really a space and time for you to see what eyes are around you. When do you feel like eyes are upon you? What parts of yourself are you hiding? What parts of yourself are in performance mode? Because right here in this final card, it says vulnerability is hot as fuck. And that's the tweet. That's the summary of this reading. I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much if you hung out this long. I really do feel like this was powerful for this last shedding of skins as we enter into the year of horse for 2026. And I'll definitely do another reading or two in between then and now, but I really wanted to kind of give us a moment to strap in for this final month of shedding, because it's been a doozy of a year. 37 showing up again. Friends, this has been a number that's been showing up in my life to let me know when I am in harmony with my truth, when I'm in harmony with people around me, and usually when I'm feeling others' energies for real. So yeah, this has really been a year of surrendering, letting go, trusting the process, and it has not been easy. So I wanted to just offer you a little bit more food for thought as we close out this very trying year we've had, because we did it, friends. And remember, even though that there was those trials, your angels and your ancestors and your guides are persistently reminding you, persistent as they remind you, I should probably say, because grammar, that you've also been blessed. You're also highly favored. You're also here. Okay, so with that being said, I'm sending you all my lovin', and I'll talk to you soon.